Hello all, welcome to part 7 of the Security Tube Metasploit Framework Expert course and certification. In this video, we will look at how in the post-exploitation phase, we will kill the AV and disable firewall, clear the event logs, and a bunch of other interesting things. This video is part of the SMFE course and certification. For more details on how to enroll, please visit securitytube.net/SMFE. Our certifications are currently being taken by students from over 30 plus countries around the world, and this video is provided free of charge on SecurityTube as part of our vision and mission to provide free yet quality educational material in the world of InfoSec. Okay, so in the last couple of videos, we've already looked at understanding the victim better, privilege escalation, and now we look at deleting logs and killing monitoring software. Now, when you think about monitoring software, well, you have AVs, firewalls, and all of that. And Metasploit has an interesting script called kill AV, which unfortunately doesn't work as well as you would expect it to. And finally, we will look at how to clear all the logs. So let's actually go back. This is our victim machine, right? Running AVG 2012, all little updated and happy. And this is our attacker machine. I will be using the net API exploit. So let's hit exploit. There you go. We've broken in. Right. Now, one of the first things which I'd like to do is figure out uh, what, if at all, a firewall is running there or not, right? Now, before I do this, let me go on the victim machine and let me actually go and check what is actually there in the network connections. So if you notice currently, firewall is enabled for all outgoing network connections. Now let's go back here. Now, what I'm going to do is use the execute command in Meterpreter to give myself a command prompt on the remote system. So I do execute command.exe. I'm going to channelize it, which means I want to interact with this in an asynchronous way whenever possible. And also this command prompt needs to be hidden from view, which is it should not show up or pop up on the desktop, right? So this says channel 1 created. Now if I want to talk to channel 1, I type in interact 1. There you go. Now I have a command prompt on the remote system, right? Which is the 1.100 computer. Now, in order to figure out whether the firewall is running or not, I'm going to run a simple command netsh firewall, and then you simply have show op mode. Okay. Now, once you run this gives you a lot of interesting information. Currently, the operation mode seems to be enabled, right? Now, in order to disable the firewall remotely, we simply run netsh firewall set op mode, and mode is equal to disable. Okay. Now what this is going to do is disable the firewall, and if you heard a little pop up and we go back here, notice it says no firewall turned on, right? And if you notice right here, the two lock icons which are typically there on your network connection seem to have disappeared. We can verify this by typing in again netsh firewall show up mode, and this would actually say that the current operational mode is disabled. So this is how we can go ahead and disable uh, the firewall remotely after we break in. Let's exit from this command prompt back to the Meterpreter session. Now, one of the other things you may notice on the victim right now is the AV is actually running, right? Let me relocate my, here we go. So what you would notice is the AV is actually running, right? So we want to kill the antivirus program. How do we do that? Well, Meterpreter has a fun little script called kill AV. So let's run this, and it says, hey, killing AVG something. Sounds like good news. However, if we go back here, you would notice that AVG still continues to run, which means the script isn't working, right? Now, if you take a closer look at the script itself, so we go into slash pentest, exploits, framework, then you go into scripts, Meterpreter, and open up the kill AV script. What you would notice is the functionality is pretty rudimentary, and all it does is a quick string match against the different AV programs, and then just tries to find them in the list of running processes on the victim and just tries to kill it. Unfortunately, this does not seem to be working right now. So let's investigate a little bit further into this, right? So what we can do is, let's again create a command prompt for ourselves, interact with it. This time this is created on channel 2, if you notice. Right. Now to look at all the tasks running on the remote system, there is a simple command called task list. Seems to be a little problem. Let me run this again. Interact with channel 3. Looks like the remote system is probably not responding too well. Okay, here we go. Let's actually try and exploit this again. Okay, exploitation seems to be succeeding. Fantastic. Now let me go ahead and run this again. Begin interaction with channel 1. There you go. And let's do a quick task list, right? So now what you see is a list of all the tasks running on the remote system, which is all the processes. If you search online, what you would notice is most of the AVG processes are actually prefixed with the phrase AVG in them, right? So now what we're going to do is just try and look at all of those processes which have been spawned from services, and in order to do that, categorize them by service which spawned them. We basically say task list slash svc, right? Now these are better categorized by the services which started them. So if you look at all the AVG processes, which is AVG watchdog service, this was started by AVG WD, and there seems to be another called AVG IDS agent, which was started by AVG ID agent. So let's try and distill this further down by using the find command. So let's say find /i, which is the image name, and then AVG. So this would only give us the output for anything which is prefixed with AVG. So these are all the programs which we want to kill currently. So why don't we just go ahead and kill it? So to do that, we'll use this command called task kill, and the easiest way actually seems to be to use a wildcard. So let's say task kill /f is for force, im is for image name, and then we can give it a wildcard avg star, right? So let's run this. So it gives you a couple of errors that says, hey, you cannot do some of these operations, and then it says that some of them were actually deleted. Fantastic. Let's just verify that once again by doing task list organized by service. Let's grab that into our little find for AVG. Okay, but if you notice, all of these seem to have restarted. So AVG RSX is back there again. So is this one, and so are the others. Which means what is happening is that these services, the watchdog services, are restarting these programs if they get killed, right? Uh, and that is not a good deal, simply because no matter how many times we end up killing them, they will just come back. So why don't we stop these services, right? Why don't we just stop AVG Watchdog and AVG IDS agent? So let's use net stop AVG Watchdog. Oops. So now it says the requested pause or stop is not valid for this service. It's pretty unusual. So let's actually view the different attributes of this service. Now to do that, we use SC, which is the service configuration manager, query EX, and then actually give it the service name, which is AVGWD. And then I repeat the process, query EX for AVG IDS agent. Here we go. Okay. Now, if you look at the state, it says running for both of them. There's something interesting. This is a non-stoppable service, non-pausable, and accepts shutdown. This is interesting. Which is once the service starts, you really cannot stop it. Neither can you pause it. And that's what we are hitting here right now. So how do you go ahead and kill this AV, which is running via a service which cannot be stopped or paused? So here is what we'll do. Let's go ahead and disable this service so that the next time the computer reboots, this service will not be started, right? So in order to do that, we'll say sc config, give the service name avgwd, which is the watchdog service, and say start is equals disabled. Fantastic. Sc config, the next one, which is avg ids agent start is equal to disabled. Awesome. Now what I'm going to do is I'll remotely restart the computer so that these services are not going to be started the next time the computer goes ahead and restarts. Let me exit here and let's hit a quick reboot. This will be interesting, which also means we would have to break into this once again, which is okay because it's a network service. Now we will see how interesting this can get. Right? What I'd like to caution you, however, is that different AVs may have, different ways of running their watchdogs. So this may even be particular to antivirus software. Though again, to be frank, it's not that I have really benchmarked this with all the AVs. I'm just using AVG, the latest one, all updated, simply because that is something which is available free of charge. Anyone can use it. And I think a lot of users actually do use it as well. So let's wait momentarily while the reboot happens. This is a long video, so be patient. It's 1 a.m., but I'm still wide awake. Okay, let me just check what's happening here. There we go. Welcome screen. Let me drag this to the top. Right, just to verify if AVG is running, let's first exploit this remote system. Once again, which is we are breaking in again. And then let me actually do the whole execute command.exe hidden from view and channelized. Let's interact with that channel. Let me just do a task list based on service, and then do a find based on image name for anything prefixed with AVG. Okay, this time do you notice that the watchdog service and all of that is nowhere to be seen? And if you really want to know the reason, you can actually go back here to the victim machine, go to the control panel, then the administrative tools, click on services, and what you would notice is that the AVG service has been disabled. You notice that AVG watchdog, it says disabled. AVG IDS agent, again disabled, right? So we had disabled it, and hence right now these services have not started. So all I need to do right now is basically do the task kill, force it, excuse me, and then based on image name, give it the wildcard AVG star. There you go. It says success. Now if I actually look at to actually find the AVG processes, if you notice there are none. I can go back here. Let me go back here. If you notice, AVG seems to be running, but if I just quickly hover my mouse over it, it just disappears, right? The Windows UI takes some amount of time to update. So basically what's happened is that we have gone ahead and remotely killed the antivirus and disabled the firewall, rebooted the system. Now no AV is running, so which means do whatever you want. You can bring in your typical rat, trojans, rootkits, whatever, install anything on the system and get away with it, right? Now, one of the other things which I wanted to briefly touch on are the event logs. So if we again go back on the victim system, go to control panel, administrative tools, and look at event viewer, you may actually see a ton of logs here, right? For application, security, and all that, right? Now, if you want to just quickly eliminate all of these logs, there is a very simple command called clear ev, which is clear event logs. And if you run it without arguments, it basically wipes all the logs which are there. So now if we go back here and just refresh, you would notice that none of the logs exist anymore, right? So this is how remotely you could even delete all the event logs, which may give some clue as to which services crashed and things like that. So what did we learn in this video? Once an attacker breaks in, how to disable the firewall, clear the event logs, and then even to kill antivirus, which Metasploit by itself may not have succeeded with. And this is where I would like to really stress, do not blindly depend on the tool to work, right? The tool should be an aid to speed up things, to automate things. The tool should never replace you. And this is a clear example where Metasploit failed you, right? It was supposed to kill the AV, it was not able to do it, but with a little bit of tinkering around remotely, we were able to do it by ourselves. So that's all for this video. You can download AVG, the latest one, and try this out. Seems to be working, at least as of now. So this video was part of the SMFE program and certification. Please visit securitytube.net/SMFE for more details. That's all for this video. Thank you very much.